what we'll do today, so we'll write the real-time script in the SAD library things. Okay, hope you guys already have done some practice on the SAD library. So here I have the SAD library which we had created in the last time. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add few more scripts here. Okay, few more scripts here, and I'll update here. If suppose if you see here, I've simply written echo statement. Now we'll add the real-time script, how we'll write it. Okay, let me do that. So we are going to convert the pipeline. This is the pipeline, right? This is the pipeline we are going to convert into the Groovy script. Okay, that is what I'm going to.
Ranjit, your screen is not shared.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The screen is there.
Yeah, no problem. I'll share it. Okay, so if you can see here, this is the pipeline script which I'm going to convert into the respective Groovy methods, and based on that methods we'll call our programs. Okay, scripts. Now what I'm going to do in the deploy statement, you can see here in our deployment we have, okay, in our deployment we have two servers here, right? Sorry, one server where we are going to deploy that one. Now what I'm going to do, this step I'm going to convert into the script. I'm going to add into the script. So how I'll add it, let me just edit this deploy file. Okay, edit. Instead of this echo, let the echo be there. It will just print the message, that's fine. And what I'm going to do here, as you are going to execute this on a Linux machine. Okay, so you should know, understand the environment, which environment you are going to execute it. So if you are going to execute on a Windows machine, either you can write the batch file, batch script, or PowerShell, right? As we are going to execute on Linux, we have to use the sh bash. Okay, so I'm just going to use ssh. This is the syntax you have to use. Okay, now I'm going to copy these things, put it here. Got it? I'm just going to copy that things and putting it here. Now you'll be seeing like here I have used the parameters, right? Params dot staging server. Now what I'm going to do it here. So let it be there. Okay, fine. So here instead of param, we are going to use env. Okay, we're going to use env. I'll tell you what is this env. For the timing, just remember what is that staging server. Okay, I just added some changes here. Now the same thing. What else we can do it here? The build steps, right? Let's go to the build part, build.groovy. There is one called Java build. Okay, so here it is already there. Okay, ssh maven ambient clean install, it is already there. So Java build is done. Now I need this to be uploaded into the, suppose, s3 bucket. I need to upload these things into the s3 bucket. So here what we have to do, we have to write the code. You have to write the code how to upload this into the bucket. Okay, now one second. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new Groovy file. Okay, so you know how to create just give the file name as upload.groovy. The method you have to call as def, then method name. Okay, in Groovy. So just call, and here what I'm going to write, Let me just echo uploading the artifact. Okay, so what we need to upload the artifacts into the S3 bucket. So we need the credentials details, right? The user credentials details, because we need to connect through the Jenkins to the S3 AWS S3 bucket. Okay, so for that we need the credentials like the secret key and the user key, secret key and the secret ID and secret key. Both we need that one. Also, what we need the bucket informations. Okay, we need the bucket informations. So let me just go ahead and get the bucket informations. So go to S3 system seems a little slow. This is the bucket where last time we had uploaded few files here, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to get the bucket. This is the bucket name. There is a command. One second. There is a command in AWS CLI. Okay, so you guys may not be aware about that AWS CLI. That is a AWS command line interface where you can use that command line interface to interact with your AWS services from the terminal. Okay, you don't have to log into the GUI, or you don't have to log into the UI to interact with the services, because the most of the programmer, the API, whenever they write, they used to write the programs. Okay, they don't need the UI access. They need only the programmatic access. When I was covering that I am creating a user, right? That time I had shown you how to use that creating programmatic access and the UI access, all these things, right? The same things we need it now to do that. So for AWS, I'm going to use AWS. Okay. Okay. For that, we need to have SH. Okay. So AWS, it should be S3. Okay. Then CP. So if you want to know more on this, we have some AWS CLI options, right? You can just go for that AWS CLI. You'll get the good documentations of that, and from there you'll get all the commands and how you can write the CLI informations. Okay, go to the documentations. Mm, okay, here is the user guide. Okay. So if you see it here, using AWS with AWS services, as I'm going to use this S3 services. Okay, so just click on this and you'll find how we can copy and all S3 services and all. Using high level commands with AWS CLI. Okay, here are the options available. Okay, what are the options? like the top, what we can do with these commands. We can create a bucket, we can delete a bucket, move a bucket, copy objects and all. So in our case, we are going to copy objects. Okay, so here is the options how we can write to do the copy objects. Okay, simple things, AWS S3 CP. Okay, I'm going to write an source and target. Source and targets given, also example snippet they have given what is the source and what is the target, how you'll write the details. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write it S3 CP and the source target. Source is, suppose I'm going to copy the war file, right? So what I'm going to do, either I can do this way or I can write workspace. Okay, workspace, and every workspace, if I go to the Jenkins where our war file will be available. Okay, suppose I go to this. Okay, this is just a simple. Okay, so if you go to the workspace here, error. There are no workspace about this project. Okay, it is. I think I have deleted all these workspaces. Okay, you'll see the workspace here, and after this workspace will have the target folder. Okay, so that target folder I'm going to write it here, slash target, sorry, target, and then the var file name. Okay, suppose I can give start.var. That's all. I'm going to cp that file, copy that file to the bucket location. Okay, so how I'll write it, it will be s3 slash slash and the bucket name. Again, if you are confused, just go here, see, s3 colon slash slash then bucket name. Okay, so what is the bucket name? I have DevOps wave dot ansible. Just put it here. Okay, now I wrote all this to upload this file into the S3 bucket. Good. But before that, we should have configured that AWS CLI CLI in our server first. Okay, let me save this one. Saved. I just added one more Groovy file called upload.groovy. Now what I'm going to do, same thing. I have to configure on the server first. Let me log into the Jenkins server. That will be done by your administrator and all. If you are getting opportunity to do that, that's also good. Okay, so okay, I have already logged in, I think. Okay. Now let's see whether AWS CLI is there or not. Just breakfast. It's not there. Okay, let me install it quickly. It's a simple command, install AWS CLI. Okay, good. Latest version package AWS CLI already installed. Latest version. But why this AWS is not? Okay, system excitement. Just what was the sent call? Unable to pass. Okay, home center service credentials. Mm, mhm, fine. So let me exit it. Not exit. This user ID and password is no more there. So let me create one quickly. So we have to go to the IAM and create one user ID and password quickly. I was showing you one good thing here, right? So remember in your AWS cloud, whenever they'll ask questions where your credentials get stored, right? If you go to here in a home directory with the hidden directory .aws, there you'll find one file called credentials where it stores the AWS user ID, user credentials, okay? The access key ID and the secret access key. All this is being stored under this. Okay. Now four users are there. Let me create one more user quickly. And we need this user ID and password. Okay. Already it is there, AWS CLI demo. Let me just quickly recreate security credentials. Teachable. Okay, this is the one which is already that is active, but let me delete it. I deleted. Create one more access key here. You can create it immediately. So just download it. Done. Good. So I already have created. Okay. So what I'm going to do it here, I'm going to configure AWS first. Okay. It will be AWS configure. Okay. Sorry, it should be sudo. So it will be under root. So AWS configure. Okay. What is asking? It is asking the access key ID. Okay. Now let me just add this access key ID. Then it's asking for the secret access key. Get the secret access key. Then added it here. Okay. So what happened here? It asked the region name. So you should give the default region name and the output format default. Let it be there. Now it is configured, right? If I do AWS, okay, S3 ls, it will list me the bucket information. See, it will list me the bucket informations in the S3, whatever the bucket is created in the S3. Okay, see. So if you want to do practice something, just install AWS CLI and just try to do some programmatic whatever things are there. And there are a lot more things also there to work on the EC2, and lot more command interfaces are there. Okay, so you can just work on this. Now you can see here that now that means we have configured our AWS so that whenever we execute the Jenkins file, this one upload.groovy, it will first check the credentials to log into the S3 bucket, right? So now we have set it up. Now it will not done any problem. Now what we're going to do here, we have added all these things in our shared library. This is the code we have written it over here. Now we are going to add all these things to our pipeline. Okay, so what are we going to do now? So let's go to that, and not here. So library. So last class we had created this job, okay, this project, side library before. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to do some changes to the pipeline job. Okay, so here no, we don't have to do anything changes here. So what is this job name? DevOps wave, and let's see what was the repo developer repo was used. Okay, that is what we need to check. Just go to configure. Okay, it was used DevOps wave dot git, and so what was the branch was used? It was the feature library branch was used, right? So here you can see here we have used the Groovy scripts here. In our program, we have used the Groovy script and the Jenkins SAD library. We have used the SAD library to execute it. Okay. Now, what happened? We have done some changes, okay, to the Groovy script. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add something here. So, what I had done here in the deployment step, you can see here, I have added one thing called env.staging server. env.staging server, right? This is the staging server where I'm going to. So you'll be thinking, right? Questions will be coming in your mind like, what is this env and how it will be called now, right? This is a variable. How this will be called? Environment variable. Remember, in this SAD library and in Jenkins, whenever you are just calling this environment variables, you have to declare the environment variables in the pipeline. Okay. So here, this is the pipeline. I'm going to add some environment variables. So how you will do that? So you have to write one things called environment. Okay, environment. Inside this, you have to add the environment variables. Okay, suppose the variable name is our staging server. This is the environment variable. Okay, so the IP address of the staging server. Suppose I'm going to make another details. One second. Just watch carefully, okay, see carefully how I'm doing it, and same way you have to also, while writing the scripts in your organization or company, you have to write in this way also. Okay, this is the real time which we work in our company also. Okay, so let's ignore this one. I'm going to install, sorry, I'm going to deploy in another server, right? This is the server. Let me start it, the Tomcat server. Okay, let me quickly go there and start the Tomcat server. Okay, so our server Tomcat server is started. That's good. Now, what I'm going to do, going to change something on the server here. So staging server IP address is This is the IP address staging server, okay, where I'm going to deploy. Okay, let me just give one on wait here. Good. IP address, this is how I just made it environment, and this code can be reused. The code, whatever we have used it, as we have given us, we have made it variable. Okay, we made it as parameterized. So this code can be reused anywhere by anybody multiple times. Okay, any number of times it can be used. Now I'll show you how it can be used. Now I just added the environment variable, this one. Good. Now what I'm going to do, and this environment variable has been called here as env dot staging underscore server. Okay, so now let's save it, and this one is done. Now I'm going to save this one. Okay, this is only the staging server, and here I have called anyways can Java build. Okay, this is what it's going to call, and deploy. So we have changed, done something in the deploy. Good. Now after that we need to upload into to, suppose there is another stage I have added to upload it. Okay, stage and stage. So we can add another stage here. Stage. Up, upload S3. Mhm. Steps, you have to write the steps. Then in the steps, let's write the script, and then we just add it upload. So we just called the another method here, that is the groovy, this one upload.groovy. Okay, in this upload.groovy we have used the AWS command to upload the files into the bucket. Okay, so four things we have added it here. Now upload. Now let's save it, commit changes. Okay, so now you see how the environments variables we can write it here, and then how we can call it from the pipeline. Okay, now this in the pipeline I have used it, and there we have called the environment variables in the Groovy scripts of the side library. Okay, now let's execute that job and let's see what's happening. Go here, and I have not changed anything. So this particular, as this is a multi-branch pipeline, I am working on this feature slash library. Okay, this job. So let's click and build now. Let's see what is happening. Fifth is working, done. So it checked out the code. First is done, and so now scanning, then building is going on. Okay, so okay. So what happens? It failed with a bad substitutions where executing deploying method. So we need to fix it out why it is failed. Okay, so what it says, environment dot staging server opt tomcat web apps bad substitutions. That means there is something problem in our code. Let's go and fix it. Okay, so what was the one, the step it is failed from the deploy script, right? So why it is failed? Bad substitutions. Let's add without env and see. So you can see the this UI, right? The open blue version, how it looks like. And if you see it here, you can click and see the logs through the blue version, right? Okay. So deploy to staging is now success. Okay. So if I go and check the logs, you can see here deploy to staging is success. Go and check the logs. Okay. What happens? Okay. It is deployed successfully, but it is failed. Okay. Now what I did here, we don't have to specify env dot staging dot server, staging underscore server. Okay, suppose if you are using the environment variables under this pipeline, then you can use env dot then variable name. Suppose if you are using directly the variables under this Groovy script, the directly you can call like dollar within the curly braces, you can call the variable name here. So it will get the IP address. So if you go and check the logs here, it has got the IP address. See, this is the IP address. It has got it. Okay. Now it has deployed, but it is failed under this. What? Why it is failed? It said star.var. Okay. So what happens here? The workspace I have given, right? So this is how you have to troubleshoot your code. Okay. This is how you have to troubleshoot the code. What says the target star.var does not exist. Anyone was telling anything?
Yeah, I was about to say that workspace location is missing,
Yes. So
where
that's
you're copying from source to target. Yeah.
exactly. That's good you identified. So this workspace is missing here. Okay, so it is not able to find it out from the target. So why this workspace is missing? But we had already given the workspace, but it seems it is missing it over here. Okay, so let's see why the workspace. One, what was that? If we go here, upload. Okay, so here we had given the workspace is like that.
Yes.
This workspace is a actually is a global variable and it should be called like this. Okay, let me just change it to the capital workspace. Okay, workspace, let's see whether it is getting it or not. Got it is, and again bills. So scroll this building deployed. Oh cool, see, now it captured the workspace. Okay, so remember the two things we just learned. That is not because see, if you would have written in a batch file PowerShell, then workspace small is okay. As it is working on the Unix, as it is case sensitive, workspace you have to provide as uppercase. Okay, this is the global variable of Jenkins, and if you specify this workspace, so Jenkins will treat this as the workspace of the project workspace. Okay, now you can see the logs. It has been uploaded into this file. Let's see. Let's go to our EC2 instances, sorry, S3 bucket, and let's check what is that and where it is uploaded. Got it? And if we go here, see, our file is uploaded here. DevOpsWeb.war. Just today, 8/18, this uploaded. Okay, now you saw how it can be done. Now the question is how this code can be reused. As I was telling, this code, because here we have written in the deploy part, we have written it here and given a variable, parameterized it. Okay, suppose tomorrow Sasikala is working on a project and she needs that her application need to be installed deployed in a different server, right? Different server. So she has to change something on her pipeline, not on the code, because this code is unique and can be reused by many projects. So if you change something here, it will impact all other projects who are using the code. Instead, what we can do, we can change the things in our pipeline. So how we'll do that one? Okay, so suppose okay, now uh, suppose Sasikala is working on a different project, this one. Okay, now, okay, suppose he has done something, suppose featured library which I am working on this, and suppose he is going to work on a new project, on her project, either this project or any other project. I am getting the same project, might be she might be working on a different project. Okay, let's create a branch out of this. Okay, suppose he is adding a new feature, uh, okay, so created. Now what I'm going to do here, what she has to do here, she has to just update the pipeline, right? The Jenkins file. So what she has to update? Only the parameter, only the parameter. Okay. Now she has to update to the different server. Okay. Now what happens? Suppose her server is something different compared to this. Okay. This is the server. Now she has to only change the staging server. That's why the environment, this part contains multiple environment variables. Whatever environment variables you need, you can just put it over here. Okay, and then that can be used on this Jenkins library. Okay, now edit, commit the changes. That's all. She has to only do the changes here, and all the code, whatever she wants, she can use it over here and just execute it. Okay, this is how you can multiple codes can be reused and can be done. Okay, so this,
Okay, here I can,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, please.
Ranjit.
Mhm.
Uh, I can hear any number of staging server in an environment, or
Yeah,
why I'm asking, in some cases we will take the backup also for some 2 3 days. So
okay, okay, fine. So let me just add that on. So suppose I'll add it over here. What else? I'm going to work on it. So as per her, she wants to add to multiple server. Okay, so let me just add one more server here. So here you have to add it. Okay, suppose staging server, staging underscore server underscore two. I added one more server, and any n number of servers you can add it. Okay, not a problem. Just give the IP address or the host name of the server. Suppose this is 65.
So,
Okay, now just,
Ranjit,
yeah,
so here we are giving anyhow, Ranjit, we are giving that agent, right? So
yeah.
the agent and the server are one and the same, right?
uh,
Agent, we are saying any, right?
you have given any. Okay, any agent it. So
Yeah,
okay,
there itself we can give the server name, right? That the agent is nothing but the slave node, right?
it's not like that, Muthu. So agent, where do you want the code to be executed? In which machine,
Correct.
in which server do you want this
Yes.
code to be executed? You can give any means,
Yeah.
any available agent, any available agent it can be executed. Suppose if we go, we have suppose two agents available here, so three now: master, Java agent and agent v4. When you give agent any, that means any available agent, it will be executed. On any available agent, it will be executed. But if you want to be run on particular agent, on particular agent, then you have to specify the agent there. You have to specify the agent. Okay, so how will specify? I already have shown you, I believe, right? Let me just open it here, another one. So what happens if you specify the agent here, right? See, here I had specified the agent before. That means this project, this code will be executed on agent b4 machine, on agent b4 machine. So if I go here, sorry, see agent b4 machine. That means the code will be executed on the agent b4 machines. But whatever the code we are writing, that is for to deploy the application on this server. This is totally different. Don't get confused. Whatever suppose if you are
Okay.
thinking,
Yeah.
if we run this one on this server, then what will happen? Yes, you can create an agent, and if you want to install or deploy in the same agent, then you don't have to specify all this. You can write simple code to cp command, because on the same server the deployable file will be available. You don't have to only copy that file to the Tomcat folder and it will work. Okay.
Yeah, Ranjit, actually this staging server is our application deployment, but that agent is to create our pipeline,
The
right?
See, the agent in our slave and agent architecture, right? Slave and node architecture, what I had told. Suppose, let me just tell you
Yeah.
one thing. Suppose you have a Java project you are executing, and Muthu is executing a .NET project. Okay, so Muthu needs the .NET environment to be set up on a machine to execute his build, right? To execute his project. So see, he has to set up the agent for that .NET or that Windows server where .NET is installed. So see, he has to give the agent to the Windows server. As you are working on a Java project or that is a Linux machine, then you have to give an agent as a Linux machine, whatever the machine name it is given. You have to set up that machine on your machine, because your project require to be run on the Java machine where the required libraries and binaries are already set up the build to be executed. You can run on multiple agents, multiple machines based on the agent setup. Remember agent where you want to execute your server. Even if you don't give any agent or only you have only one master, then it will be executed on the master machine itself. Uh, I think you guys are still confused on the
No, I think
master agent.
Ranjit. So, I mean, the agent what we have here is only for the compiling purpose for generating the WAR file, and the environment is the actual environment where you want to deploy it. That's the difference, right?
Exactly.
Got it.
Environment.
Okay.
Here we have given only the deployable server name. You can give anything. You can give here version
It's
name.
like maybe a customer one or customer two servers
Yes,
where the
that
actual
is.
deployment happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here I just created to make our code because fully automated. We don't have to change to reuse the code. Most of the times when you use the variables, that variables can be used multiple times by multiple people in multiple projects, right? Here I am using, suppose my project version is um, 2.2. I don't have to change anywhere. I have to simply come here and change it. Environment, suppose uh, like system, I can give as staging or production staging. Okay, so all these things you have to write like this only. Okay, the variables. Remember, there will be multiple variables, 100 variables. Also, you can write it here based on your project requirement, what you are going to do it. Okay. Now, suppose I added all these things, and as per Sasikala, she wants to deploy in another server. Okay, she wants to deploy into another server. Okay. Now, this is what the server 2. Now, let's commit the changes. Commit changes. Okay, there are two things she can do now. In this library, as we have only one server is added here, we can write one more code here. Just copy this, paste it here, and just give underscore 2. What will happen? First, it will deploy on this server, and then it will deploy on the second server. This is the one thing you can do. So here, what will happen? As Sasikala is working on this on her project, and she needs to be deployed on the two servers, but Muthu wants only to be deployed on one server, and he is using this code. That means it will fail for Muthu, because Muthu will not have this staging 2 servers to be deployed. So what instead what we can do, we can simply create another Groovy file, save changes.
Or can we make it like a loop? If we pass 2 parameter, it will take it as a 2, and if it is
Exactly.
1, it will take 1.
Exactly. That is what I am going.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. Yes. What Muthu told, yes, we can do. We can write a loop and create it. So there what we have to modify again. Here you can add another variable like deployable number of deployment. You can give either 2. Suppose you are going to deploy in the 2 servers, you can write 2. So then you can write the code in such cases. Here we have to provide a condition here, not loop. You can just provide a condition here. Okay, again, that is the one way. Conditions: if number of deployment is 2, deploy in this 2 server. Another way you can do is to put in a loop. Okay, so how you'll put in a loop? You don't need these things if you are going to put in it. Let me comment it. Okay, if for commenting you can do double slashes here. You can comment. You can do what? Just give comma here, copy it here, put it down. That means staging server is having now 2 server, and it will be deployed on a 2. Okay, this is another way to do it. Now save it. That is why automation, in the initially when I just took the classes, right, what is DevOps? It's a mindset. How do you want to automate your stuff? I told you initially, right? It's a mindset, how you want to deploy, how you want to automate your stuff. See, there will be multiple way you can automate. I showed you 3-4 times of 3-4 ways you can do it, right? It's up to you how you want to automate the stops easily, quickly, and very effectively, right? That you can do it. Now, whatever is mutual, we can put it in a loop, we can put in a conditions, we can create another file, we can we can pass another variables. The multiple ways you can do it. Okay, now, okay, suppose I want to put in a loop. I just added 2 servers here. Suppose I want another server, you can add just comma and another server here. Just put it here, commit changes. Okay, I added 2 more servers. Now I'm going to modify my deploy.groovy script. So what I have to do it here, we can write the loop statement here for, okay, before that you have to do lot more changes. I'm not going to write the for. We have to do lot more changes here. Why? Because first thing is to count how many parameters is passed to this variable. For that you have to write some groovy syntax, groovy code to parse this string and then get parameters out of that, the number of strings like 2, and then create a variable here and then put it in the for conditions. Now you understand the overview, right? Now you understood how it works. Then you have to put it here. First things you have to find it number of strings passed. You have to pass it the comma here. Comma is given, right? Then you have to pass it here. You'll get 2 strings, and then you have to give in the put into the for a loop. Either you can use for or while, whatever you can use it. Okay. So now this is a task for you. Try to get the Groovy syntax to parse. I'm just giving you the hints how you can do it. This is a variable, string variable, and this variable having 2 IP addresses assigned, and this is a string, and you have to parse or parse the strings and get 2 parameters like 2 IP address will be, and just count the number of IP addresses. Okay, here put in a for loop and then try to do that. So just you can search in the Google like Groovy for loop syntax, then you can find it out how to parse a string in Groovy. Okay, all these things, this is a task for you and you do at your home. Okay, and let me know maybe if you are having any difficulties, then I can just help you to do that. Okay. Okay, guys, do you have any doubt we can discuss, or else we can wind up this call, and in the next class we'll start Docker. Okay, next class we'll go with Docker. Maybe Sasikala will be there and Amit will be there. So guys, if you have any doubt anytime, you can just message me or WhatsApp me in Jenkins, or if you want to learn anything else, any feature or anything, you can also tell me. Okay.